Today's January 19th. One of the nicer days we're gonna have over the next week or so. So really wanted to get out on a walk. It's close to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Not sure what that is in Celsius. But again, it's pretty nice. And the rest of this week is going to be cold, I think all the way into next week. So my first walk of the new year. Well, I've walked around the house and in stores and stuff, but I haven't planned any walks where I get to walk out in nature. So it's nice. It's nice. I wanted to post an update on my latest challenge that I talked about in my last video. That is the Dry January challenge. No alcohol for the month of January, and how that went. How am I still dry? Have I had any alcohol up to this point? But before I get to that, I wanted to do a quick follow-up on the holiday card exchange that I had. I wanted to thank everybody who sent me a holiday card. I am only checking the post office box about like once a week at this point. I have continued to get a couple more cards in, so if you haven't gotten a card back from me, it either means that I'm in the process of doing that, or there were, I think, one or two cases where I could not make out the return address from the person who sent me a card. In each case, I even went on Google Maps. I tried to, see if I could figure it out, but there were, I think, one or two cases where I couldn't make out the return address. So I apologize if you didn't get a card back from me. That's probably the reason why. But again, thank you to everybody who sent me cards. I also did get a couple of gifts in the mail. I mentioned, I think in one of my Vlogmas videos in December, I got the magnet. Somebody sent me a magnet, which was really cool. It's hanging up in the gym. But I also received from Karsten in Germany, sent me a couple of postcards from their hometown, which I believe is called Paderborn. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And also a mug, really cool mug. I really like this mug. So thank you very much. Again, hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Paderborn. Yeah, that's really cool. Also, Rob sent me a couple of adapter sleeves. So also in December, I was trying to make my own weight plate adapter sleeves to adapt from the standard size weight plates to the Olympic size. He sent me a couple from Amazon. They're really cool. It looks like they're like 3D printed. They're really lightweight, but really strong. And I'm already using these. I put these on my shoulder side lateral raise machine. So they're working out really well. So Rob, really appreciate that. Thanks. And again, thank you to everybody who sent me cards. It is much appreciated. I had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun doing that. Okay, so update on Dry January and how that's going and where I stand. In my last video, when I first started the challenge, it was January 1st, I think I mentioned how I thought the first week leading up to the first full weekend was going to be like the first test. I think it actually ended up being like the biggest test for me. Actually, that first Saturday, it's kind of windy today. Hopefully you can hear me. That first Saturday, so January 1st, I still had that same mentality. It's Saturday, have a couple drinks, even Sunday and Monday, I might have a beer with Sunday football or even Monday night football. But anyway, I didn't have any other alcohol that weekend. So as the first week started to progress, I was really thinking about what is it that I'm drinking alcohol for. And I really couldn't come up with the answer. You know, I quit my job, so I don't have that same 9 to 5 Monday through Friday mentality, you know, where you're trying to make it through the week, and then, you know, Friday night, it's like a celebration, right? Let's celebrate, we made it through the week. I don't have that anymore. So there's really no reason why any particular day for me should be that much different than any other. And the more I thought about it, I realized, you know, I never really should have had that thought in the first place. You know, like logically, it doesn't really make sense. You know, as you get to the weekend, you know, if you've been working all week, why drink alcohol to celebrate like Friday night, Saturday night? I mean, I know, you know, if you don't feel good the next morning, it's okay because you don't have to work, right? That's the thinking. But it's the beginning of your free time. So logically, I would think you'd want to get to bed earlier and wake up rested and have all day Saturday, all day Sunday to just work on things that you couldn't do during the week, right? Does that make the most logical sense? I mean, it did to me, and maybe it's because, you know, I don't have the job anymore, and I don't know, I can see that a little bit more clearly. But as the week went on, and I started getting closer and closer to the weekend, it just, that illogical behavior it just became stronger and stronger. And that first Friday night was not really a big deal for me. And I actually woke up Saturday thinking it was Sunday, which was, I knew right away. I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I forgot what day it is. So if I don't have the day of the week, you know, in my mind all throughout the day, I'm not, you know, 5, 6 o'clock isn't rolling around and I'm like, oh yeah, let's have a couple drinks, right? I don't know. I'm not sure if this is making much sense, but yeah. So I did it. I got past the first week, and I really do think that was probably the most critical, because, you know, it would have been a lot easier for me to have a drink that first Friday, and you know, I would have been less than a week into the challenge. I think it would have been, you know, easy for me to say, oh, well, you know, I hardly even into this, not a big deal, you know, but knowing that if I make it past that first Friday, that first weekend, you know, that kind of builds some momentum and makes you invested in the process. And so you don't want to quit out on something that you've started and you've already invested in. And that's exactly what happened. I got through the first weekend. You know, I hit like Monday, Tuesday of the next week. I was like, I got this. No big deal. And it's been easy since then, actually. You know, and I don't think I ever would have done this when I was drinking, but I started looking up more videos about, you know, what alcohol does to you and what are the benefits of alcohol, and wow, you know, it's really bad. So, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And I'm thinking about all the calorie savings. I'm getting better sleep. I'm slowly waking up more and more early as the days go on. I'm almost at the point where I could start lifting weights in the morning. That's the other thing. I lifted weights every day last week. The only day I missed was this past Monday. We had several things to do. I did not plan very well, and it got too late in the day, and I just didn't want to lift late in the day. But the fact that I'm going to bed earlier and I'm waking up earlier, like I said, I'm getting close to the point that I think I might start lifting weights in the morning. First thing in the morning, then I don't have to worry about my schedule getting in the way, and messing up my lifting schedule. So I feel good. I feel really, really good. So that's pretty much my update for dry January. So far, so good. Still in it to win it. Feeling good. I've even had some thoughts of extending it beyond January. I've seen people do, 100 days, and I don't know. I don't want to, probably speaking too soon. I don't think I'm necessarily at the point where I'm like, oh, I'm never touching alcohol again. But for the time being, while I'm trying to lose weight and, get in shape and get back to better health, it's hard for me to find any reason to even have a drink. I know one or two drinks is not gonna, mess up your calories count or your, really mess up your sleep or anything like that. It's not gonna really do much. But what's it gonna do for you? Nothing really. So I don't know. Finding it more and more difficult to come up with any reason to drink alcohol. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I plan to do some more updates on dry January as it goes along. So hope you're all doing well, and talk to you in the next video.